Hey there, in this video we're going to talk more again about congruent versus similar shapes, but now we're going to compare them to their transformations. So when I say transformations, we're talking about, hey, are they congruent because it just flipped or reflected? Are they the same because they slid, which is to translate? Or did they stay the same because they were rotating? Now these all make congruent figures. Now, if we're talking about similar, those are created by dilation. So just making a bigger version or a smaller version of the same shape. Now remember, congruent shapes are also similar. So that we want to keep in mind. So just as a reminder, which figures are congruent? Okay, this one is congruent, they're exactly the same. No, this one's not congruent, they're not exactly the same, but I would say this one is similar because the sides are proportional. No, these are not congruent. This is 3 by 4, this is 4 by 4. And circles, if they're true circles, all the same distance all the way around, are always similar, but these ones are congruent. The radius is the same. So let's look at some transformations. So first off, I'm going to look at the two figures and I'm going to see if they're the same shape. So this is 2 units, 2 units, 1 unit, 1 unit, and I can see by counting all the sides that they are congruent. So if these are two congruent, then they are equal because I either translated and slid the shape, I flipped it, or I rotated it. Now on this one, to go from figure A to figure B, which is the direction it's asking me, hey, I want to know what it is that I'm doing. Well, it looks like a flip, so it's not any of the translating. It's not any of the rotating. I'm going to see if it's either of these reflecting. So did it reflect over an axis? Yes. Hey, it flipped over this line, which is the x-axis. So figure A over the x-axis. Are figure D and figure C congruent? Okay, well, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and yeah, they're congruent. Now, what transformation occurred? Well, it doesn't look like it flipped, but it did move from this quadrant to this quadrant. Notice it says from C to D, so make sure you're careful. Make sure you are careful with those directions that we're going. So what did it do? Well, it slid, so it's none of the reflections and it's none of the rotations. In what direction did it move? It moved to the left. And if I take this unit and I move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yep, it translated to the left 7 units. So let's try that again. Okay, are they congruent? Well, this is 2, this is 1, this is 3, this is 3. So yes, they are congruent. It looks again like a reflection, and it reflected again over the x-axis. Now, if I look at these two shapes, 2 and 2 and 1 and 2, these are not congruent. So because these are not congruent, I don't even need to select any of these answers. I'm just going to select the answer at the bottom that says none of these. There is no transformation that maps C onto D because they are not congruent. Okay. On this one, we have multiple sequences. So what is going to move figure A to figure B? Now, first off, are they congruent? 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Yes, they are congruent. Next, I'm going to decide. Now, it's a couple different. I have a couple different options, so I'm just going to work with them. And I'm going to go through each one at a time. So the first one says translate figure A 10 units to the right. So all I'm doing is sliding it this direction, this -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my shape is now here, roughly. And then it says, and then reflect it over the x-axis. Well, if I reflect it, it's not even going to be in that right shape. So gone. Okay, next option is to translate it only 7 units. So moving it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. So it's right here. Oops. and then to rotate it counterclockwise 180 degrees. So remember, if we rotate things 180, they move 2 quadrants. So, and counter would be 1 quadrant, 2 quadrants. So nope, it's not even that quadrant, so getting rid of that option. Okay, a few other options. So reflecting the figure over the y-axis. So if I reflect it over the y-axis, this dot is 2 away from the y-axis, so it's going to move 2. This is also 2, so it's going to move 2. And then I can kind of trace my shape from there. And then it says translated up. Well, that's not even going to be oriented the right way, so that one's gone. Okay, last option, and then maybe we're out of luck. So it says rotate my figure counterclockwise around 90 degrees about the origin. So counterclockwise is moving it this direction. So rotating it 90 degrees. I'm going to rotate it 90. So this is going to move 90 degrees to here. This is going to move 90 degrees to here. So I've got my shape here. So did it rotate 90 and then reflect over the x-axis? Well, the x-axis is down here. Oh shoot. So my last option is rotating it counterclockwise 90 degrees. So that means it moves to this quadrant, and then it says, and then flip over the x-axis. So this is a possibility. Let's check it out. So if I want to rotate this 90 degrees, I'm going to take this point right here and rotate it 90 degrees to here. This point gets rotated 90 degrees to here. This point gets rotated 90 degrees to here. So it's looking pretty good. Yep. So, and then I reflect it over the x-axis. Yes. So that's my last option. So sometimes it's just about choosing the one that best fits. So let's try one more or two more just to make sure we've got these. So figure A to figure B, 1, 1, 2, 3. So notice I'm checking first to see if they're even congruent, because now I can just click none of these. My last option, okay, so which is going to map figure A to figure B? Well, now I notice that they are not congruent, but it doesn't ask me if they're congruent. It asks me at the very bottom, you'll notice it asks me if they're similar. So this is 1 unit, this is 2, this is 2 units, this is 4. So it's doubling all of my units. So yes, they are similar. So if it's similar, that means it's going to have a dilation. So I need something that says they are dilating by 2, because it just got 2 times bigger. And if I look through all of the options, scale factor of 2, scale factor of 2, scale factor of 2, scale factor of 2. So they are, all of these options are dilated. So I'm going to have to go with the other. I have to be looking at what else is happening. So this one says figure A is translated up and then dilated. So translated up would just be meaning moving up. But I can see that my shape turned or flipped or something, so that's out. And the next option says that it just reflected over the y-axis and then dilated. So if it reflected, it should be over here. And it's not, so that was out. The next one says that it should rotate 180 degrees and then dilate. So turning 180, well, that would put me in the right quadrant, so that's good. Does it rotate it 180 if I turn my paper 2 times? Yes, it does. So I'm going to go with this option, but I'm just going to make sure that the rest are no good. The next one says dilate it and then translate it, so that's out. And yep, we selected that one. So that's what I'm going to be doing on this assignment, is looking for those transformations. You don't have to be actually making them, but recognizing what's going on. I hope you have a great day, and if you have any questions, please let me know.